Hi there, and today I'm taking some of my Lego builds and I'm displaying them at the Chichester Brick Festival. Now, as I live on the south coast of England, if there's ever a brick festival fairly nearby, I try and get along to it. Before that's meant Portsmouth and Southampton and Bournemouth, but today is the first brick festival in the town of Chichester. So I thought I'd just show you what I've packed up and then we're going to chuck it in the car and get going. So first of all, on top I've got a smaller box of little bits and pieces. And in here I've got lots of minifigures for all the different sizes of classic spaceman. I've got the regular size space buggy and the micro space buggy to go with my upscaled space buggy. And then new for this show, something I haven't taken before, I'm taking my micro space baby monorail set, and I've got 2 flyers to add to that display. And then I've got 2 circuit cubes to power it, and they're all charged and ready to go. And then underneath that I've just got a few odds and ends. I've got loads of cards to give out to promote the channel, and on the back of them I've got a QR code which links straight to my channel. These are some little brick built display stands for those cards. I've got 2 different prototype legs for my upscaled space baby, and of course the circuit cube motor to run the monorail. The next box down is my upscaled space buggy project, and in here I've got the giant box that I made for it, which you can see there. And then there's the upscaled space buggy itself with all its extra pieces, the ray gun for the front, the steering wheel, and also a 1x1 plate just to show how upscaled size works. And then in the black Lego lunchbox, I've got the original space buggy box and its instructions. And then next to that is my huge blue classic spaceman nightlight. And then moving on to box 2 is mainly the upscaled mini loader. First of all, I've got the QR code to my channel, which I built on a live stream ages ago. Then underneath that, I've got my giant blue classic spaceman plushie. And then there's the main part of the mini loader. Over here is the 2x3 plate, the white 1x2 brick and the steering wheel, and then of course the 2 1x1 round bricks, which are the exhaust pipes. And then in here is the original mini loader and his driver. And over on this I've got a couple of other upscaled things. I've got my suitcase or briefcase and the upscaled letter. And then the third box has got a whole load of extra odds and ends. So I've chucked everything in on this old black felt blanket just to stop everything sliding around. But in here I've got the head from the original upscaled minifigure, and then my version with the workman's vest for the upscaled mini loader. There's my recoloured upscaled space baby in white. These are the 2 original legs for my upscaled spaceman, and they've got solid legs on the back of them like the original Lego model did, but then I remade them so they had holes in them so it could sit on the space buggy, so they're just there in case anyone's interested in how they were built. I've got my blue classic space brick heads, and that goes on my different sizes of spaceman display. A fairly standard thing for displayers at Lego shows are 1x8 bricks, and these are all the ones of shows that I've been to and groups that I'm a part of. If anyone's interested in the upscaled loader, I can show them the prototype that I built for the scoop. And then this is just another huge box of those minifig Jez cards, as I tend to give out quite a lot at shows. So that's the top layer, but underneath there's a whole nother layer of Lego. Firstly, I've got my Every Spaceman is Awesome display. There's Lego's original red upscaled space baby, my other recoloured upscaled space baby in black, then 2 other upscaled sets which Lego have made, the Racing Driver and the new Father Christmas, and of course the upscaled spaceman to go on my space buggy. Then the only things that won't fit in the boxes are the stand for the sizes of classic spaceman display, and then lastly my motorised and extended micro command centre display. So that's everything packed up and ready to go, so let's chuck it in the car and get going to Chichester. So it's just gone 8 AM, it's been raining all morning, but thankfully it's just stopped for a moment, so I've managed to pack the car. I've got one of the boxes and the displays in the boot, and I've got the other boxes on the back seat, so it's time to get going. So this is the city of Chichester, and just through the trees there you can see the spire of Chichester Cathedral, and just behind me is Westgate Leisure Centre. And this is where I am for the day. I've got 2 tables here next door to the seller I bought minifigs from before, which is Battle Bricks. So future Jez here, editing the video, and I have to make a quick apology. I've just got a new Bluetooth microphone for my camera and haven't got it completely set up correctly yet, and I kept losing audio at the show, but I decided to give my channel members a day trip out. So here's my usual shout out to all my channel members. Thank you ever so much for your support, and if anyone else is interested in becoming a channel member, you can click on the join button below this video or the link in the description and it'll tell you how. And right as you come into the hall, they've got this absolutely giant blue classic spaceman, and there was a fleeting thought through my mind, what's the likelihood that I can just sneak out the door with him? Probably not very likely. So the show opened at 10 AM and this was the first moment that I'd got to actually take a pause and film something. As you can see, there was no one actually in front of my table at this point. But this was 2 PM, so I'd been chatting to people for about 4 hours. But it gave me a quick chance to chat to the 2 guys on the stand behind me who were selling off their old 80s Lego. And I bought 2 classic 80s sets, one which I've been after for a really long time, and they gave me a really good bargain price too. So once I've finished showing you around the Brick Festival, I'll show you those 2 sets and we'll have a quick build. So it is 3:30 and it has finally started to die down. We've had a constant stream of people. It's been the busiest Lego show that I have ever been to. But you can see we've just got a few people left having a quick look around. So this is a great mock by Mix of it, and it's boarding the Tantive 4. And here he's got it superbly organised in layers. So I guess he started off with the official Lego set and it looks like it's grown from there. So we've got the boarding scene up here, all lit up beautifully. Then if we go down a layer, it looks like all the rebels being arrested by some stormtroopers. Then we got the scene where Darth Vader's strangling one of the pilots. And then the 3rd layer down, we've got Princess Leia with Darth Vader. In the middle here we've got R2 and C-3PO going into the escape capsule. And then here, amazing effect with that blue flashing light, telling them to stun Princess Leia. And then his middle display case is just a mammoth stormtrooper army. Now I'm not totally up on my stormtroopers, so I couldn't tell you who they all are, but it does look impressively cool. Just dozens and dozens of them. And then lastly, also from A New Hope, from a whole Tatooine scene going on here. So we've got, these aren't the droids we're looking for. And then looks like the outside of the cantina. And as we drop down, we've got the last speeder there. There's a Jew back outside the cantina over here. And if we drop down again, we've got inside the cantina. Again, all looks so beautifully lit up. If we pull back, we can see the whole thing. But there's these 3 displays. So I also took the opportunity to film my own table so you could see how I laid it out. Down one end I had the 2 official upscaled minifigure sets, the Racing Driver and the Santa, and then the mini loader in front of that with the upscaled Workman, and then the smaller version in front, with my 2 upscaled accessories, the suitcase and the envelope. And then moving on, my first upscaled project, the classic space buggy, with its giant box behind. And then the every size of blue classic spaceman, right from the nano figure all the way up to the giant blue plushie. In front of that, I had my brick-built QR code for people at the show to scan. And then all the colours of every spaceman is awesome, with the 3 upscaled Lego space babies next door to them. And then right at the end, I had my motorised micro command centre. And then just on the table next door to me was another South Coast Lego YouTuber who's called Daily Weekly Builds. And he had this great office display. He had the Lego telephone set, and he built this Lego burger and fries, and he cleverly wrapped them in Lego packaging. And then next to it, he had a chunk of his Lego city. At home, he has a big Lego city up in his loft, and he'd brought a fair part of it with him, mainly the docks and the train station over on the right-hand side, with lots of containers stacked up at the back. And then I asked him about another one of his mocks, and again, apologies for the audio.
Wolverine claws.
Amazing Wolverine claws. Now tell me, you've had loads of questions about this. What is this part that you've used for the Wolverine claws?
This is from the Lego Dune Ornithopter set. It's part of the wing blade thing.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, I knew exactly what I had to make.
Perfect. And you had lots of interest in it today?
Oh yes, lots of people asking about how it's made and all that. So
very cool. Are they difficult to get hold of?
At the moment, but hopefully soon there'll be more, so you can make these for yourself.
Cool. Nice chatting to you. It's nice seeing you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So it's 10 to 4, and because this has been such a busy show, I don't think I've done this Lego show enough justice. I haven't been around to see as many people as I'd wanted to, and everyone's starting to pack down. Like I said, it's 10 to 4, the whole show shuts down in 10 minutes time. It's been an amazingly busy show. There's been lots of people selling, some really amazing displays, but yeah, time to pack down and go home. So back home, and these are the two bargain sets which I got. So not in its original box, but still in really good condition, is set 361, and that was simply called Garage. Came out in 1979, and it's got 79 pieces. And the thing I love about the artwork for this set is the image of the minifigure itself. And in the set, we got what was brand new at the time, which was the male hairpiece. Before that, we only had the female hairpiece with the pigtails. And what I believe happened is that they didn't have this piece created when they wanted to make the artwork. So what this is the female hairpiece with pigtails, and someone's just cut the ends off to make it look like the male hairpiece. And putting them right next door to each other, you can see the difference. The actual hairpiece swoops up to one side with a side parting, whereas the one in the image goes straight across above the eyes, and it seems to have a parting on both sides. Anyway, so that's today's little piece of Lego trivia. The one printed piece in the set is in pretty good condition. It's got a slight nick on the A, however, it wasn't printed like they are today. This lettering is actually printed on top, so the lettering are raised up, unlike today's printing, which you can feel smooth. As you run your finger across here, you can actually feel the letters slightly raised up from the brick surface. But of course, that made it a little bit more prone to damage, but still, just getting that slight nick on the A is pretty good condition. So we're going to give this set a quick time-lapse build, but after organising the pieces, it's great to see how few pieces Lego actually had back then. You can see it's made up mainly of 1x6s, 1x8s, 1x1s, 1x4s, 1x2s, and then a few other specialist pieces and some plates. Back in 1979, Lego just didn't have the huge range of parts that it has today. So let's get this garage built. And this is a great little set. I remember seeing it in catalogues when I was a child. And if I actually get out my Lego catalogue from 1980, I'm sure this is one of the pictures I would have looked at, wishing that I had this set. And although I've seen this set in pictures many times, I've never actually noticed that at the back here, this is a fence piece which is mounted on its side, so the studs are going through the lattices of the fence, and they're using it as a tool holder. So you can put the broom there, and then you can get the shovel and pop it in there, which is a great piece usage. Although over 45 years, something has definitely gone wrong with a couple of pieces in this set. As you can see down here, there's a really close gap between these two base plates, but as it gets further and further up here, we've got quite a big gap between the two of them up here. So I imagine one or both of those base plates has just warped a little bit over time. You've got these classic opening doors of the 80s, and way back then when vehicles were only 4 studs wide, you've got plenty of space to put a car inside the garage. So that's set number 1, and the two guys on the stall had this for sale for the bargain price of only £10. And for the condition it's in with its instructions, I think that's a pretty good price. And then the second set which I bought off these guys is set 6683, and that was called Hamburger Stand. Now this one's slightly newer, it's from 1983, and it had 69 pieces. It's in its original box, which is also in really good condition. It's just been opened at one end, and it's even got its original price sticker for £3.42. Now this is a set which I did have when I was a child, and I absolutely loved this one. And I remember one of the reasons why I especially like this set was it had this brand new clear glass door piece, which back in 1983 I thought was absolutely amazing. So it's great to finally get this set back in my collection after all these years, and it's of that great 80s era when Lego gave you ideas for alternative builds on the back of the box. Now, the two brothers selling these sets really did look after their Lego when they were kids. The instructions are still in really good condition here. The printed umbrella piece is in really good shape with no scratches at all. The hamburger sticker stuck across these two 1x4 bricks is bang in the middle, absolutely perfect alignment, and there's no peeling or scuffing around the edges. The drinks and ice cream sticker on the door is also in really good condition, although the door is showing its age a little bit with a bit of scuffing on the glass. So again, with a bit of time lapse, let's get this set built. And here's the finished build. And just like the sets I built in last week's video, the floods of nostalgia I got building this was absolutely huge. The amount of details and playability they packed into such small sets back there is absolutely incredible. Just from simple things with the opening and closing shutters and what I thought was the ultra modern glass door back then. And then inside we've got a small desk with a cash register on top, and as the set is called Hamburger Stand, I can only assume that this is meant to be a hamburger. But the colour scheme for the set is also great, with that simple blue stripe running through the yellow, through to the blue door and the blue window. And as well as being the first time I'd seen this glass door in this set, when I got it, I also remember it was the first time I'd seen these slopes which were 3 studs long. Although up until then, the only ones I had were 2 studs long at the 45-degree angle. So another great 80s set which was on my wanted list. They had it priced at £35, but I asked them if they'd take a discount for cash, hoping he'd come down to about 30, but he actually dropped it down to 25 for me, which again is an amazing price considering I got the box in such condition and all the pieces are so great. So 2 great Legoland town sets, one from 1979 and one from 1983, and I think you can see actually the design changes from the late 70s to the mid 80s, with the hamburger stand starting to look a lot more modern than the garage was. So as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel and gets the YouTube algorithm to spread my video to a lot more people. If you'd like to support my channel, you could consider becoming a channel member using the link in the description below, or if you're buying from lego.com, you could also use my affiliate link, which is also in the description. But most of all, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe for more LEGO videos.